My name is Alex Masai, and I run for Hoka and NSZ Elite. And we're based in Flagstaff, Arizona. I grew up in Kenya, western part of Kenya, specifically Mount Elgon district. And as you may know, I come from a large family. And of course, the challenge, I have 9 siblings. It wasn't a struggle at the same time. It's cultural difference compared to here. Being the younger of the siblings, I got it easier because my parents were always protective, made sure we had everything. My brother and my sister, probably Moses and Lynette, have done a lot in the running world, and probably the ones got me into running, not because they told me, but the success they had in running just, it gave me to think about, what can I try? I remember when my sister and brother came back, they came in, of course you see them with wearing country colors or flag colors, and then they come back with those outfits. They come back with, bags labeled Kenya. I'm like, how can I get one of these? Like, all right, you gotta work hard for it. In high school, I played other sports, but, I knew at the back of my mind, I kind of have some talent running, or I should try. And after high school, I joined college back in Kenya, and I started running. I was training, but I was not really competing for the school, just because it's not that taken, to the level that you compare to NCAA. It's nothing close to that.
Often in Kenya, there's not a racing background. So someone might graduate high school, not even have like a history of training, find out that, this thing called the NCAA exists, and start to see that pass for me to pursue my running and my academics.
At that time, I didn't have any official times wise to show that I can be able to run, but just that belief of somebody wishing, to give you full ride scholarship just to go run for them made me more feel like, okay, so they have seen something in me that I don't know, or something like that, that made me think twice. And I was like, okay, I think I'm ready to do it and try running, taking it seriously. It's kind of commitment that it's either 100% you're gonna do it or you can't do it. So my parents at first, they were, they didn't like the idea just because they didn't believe I was that enough in good running probably, or they didn't take it serious that if I'm gonna sacrifice and do running. My sisters were like, we believe in him, we have seen him train somehow. They convinced them finally to be able to pay for my flight ticket and all those stuff. At first it was hard just being away from family and knowing that, I can't really say I can go home for a weekend. It's a commitment that I made it, but when I arrived here, I realized, it's a commitment that you made that you can reverse it whenever you want.
Sometimes when we're recruiting, it's a student athlete that's, set on coming. And so it's maybe us recruiting against some other schools, but the kid definitely wants to come. I think Alex's situation was a little different. He was already in university in Kenya. He had a good situation. And so he saw it as a potential opportunity to have a stepping stone in a transition from where he was to a professional career. It seemed like he was just really ready for the next step, to not be in classes, to be able to focus solely on running. I think he was really confident that, okay, this is, I want to finish strong here and then move on to the next chapter of my life.
In the spring of 2021, we were looking to add athletes to the roster. And so Jenna Reed, our assistant coach, and I were watching videos. I mean, you start there. During that process, we noticed a couple things. Alex, super smooth. I mean, in my opinion, the smoothest of all the runners that were coming out that year in the NCAA. Number 2, he ran really well for a long time at NCAA cross country. He kind of faded at the end, but he ran bravely, fearlessly at the NCAA cross country championships his senior year. And then at the NCAA track championships, ran fearlessly again, and it paid off this time, and he was 6th place in what was the deepest 10,000 in NCAA history by far.
When we were nationals, I already promised Ben I would meet him to talk in person, and then after 10K, I got to meet him and I had to talk to him. And sometimes when you talk to someone, you kind of see share kind of same perspective in goals wise to help you achieve those goals. So at that time, I realized he's a good guy. He's willing to work with me and to help me achieve the goals that I had in mind.
So we had a Zoom call with Alex, Jenna and I, but we were just blown away. This guy was so nice, so fun, so cool. And we came away from that Zoom thinking, oh my gosh, this is the guy. We got to get this guy. This is the guy. And so after all that, I guess the very final step is meeting the team. And so he was able to run with the guys here in Flagstaff, see everybody, kind of come to practice, see how it all worked. And it just seemed great, just seemed like a natural fit. And so he was our guy.
After visiting them, I knew what I wanted, and I knew they would be able to support me to get to there.
The 10,000 meters was his best event in college. It was his brother's best event. It was his sister's best event. I mean, I knew that he wanted to run a great 10,000.
So coming here, I remember talking with Ben, I was like, I just want specifically to train for 10K. I'll have races up and there, but I hope it doesn't distract my 10K training, because that's my goal at the end of the year.
So as soon as it became apparent that the 10 in early March was going to be that big 10,000, that was our goal. When the gun went off, it was interesting because he basically went straight to the back, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, what's he doing? Like, does he feel okay? What? You'd think you would have put yourself a few more places up because you're just sitting in line. But actually, once about 4 laps went by, I realized, oh, actually, he's in total control. He's just choosing not to be in all that mess.
10K is generally races, you try to get the best out of yourself. You don't want to finish a race feeling that you could have done more or could have done faster. So you try to go faster but be more conservative, making sure you don't want to burn yourself out in the middle of the race.
It's this slow burn, right? So it's 25 laps, it's 27 minutes long, and it starts off and you're pretty relaxed.
Ben told me, sit back, just follow the light and follow these guys, close gaps.
And then with each lap that goes by, the intensity, the nervousness kind of grows because, okay, it's happening. He's running well. Oh boy, I think this is going to be a big one. He's doing it.
It was not until 5K when I started making moves, now passing people. I passed, I guess, 3-4 guys trying to close the gap to the green light, because that was supposed to be, kind of telling us what the pace we were.
And you get to 4 miles, which he got to, and I mean, at that point, if you're there and you're looking good, you're gonna have a big night. And he was there, and he was looking good, and it was all fine and dandy, and then it just happened so quick.
So I was trying to pass, and I think he had the same idea, trying to pass too, so we could entangle together. And without a minute, we were all down.
He got tangled, and I mean, they just both went down. I mean, it wasn't even like there was a stumble. It was just boom, down. And so he's walking. I mean, I have nothing to do. All you can do is just pat him on the back, because I can't tell him, oh, get up. You're not going to catch that pace of world-class athletes, and you've already given them 50 meters that you can't catch back up.
For a moment, I didn't really know what that meant. But after I picked myself up from the race, and then I walked to the middle of the field. Now I picture at first I was like, my ears ended. My goal has just diminished. I was mad, of course, myself. I was like, I could have done better. I could have avoided that, but at the same time, I could not. I was just tough on myself. I was like, I've done a lot to be here, and I think I've failed myself more than anybody else.
I was so disappointed for him, not in him, but I was just so disappointed for him because he had it. He was there.
I think after, talked to Ben a little while, and he was like, we could figure something else. This is not the end of it. It happens to anyone, it happens to everybody, or sometimes it happened to you today. It's a bad day for you, but we're gonna come back. And I think it was really a good idea, for my coach to tell me that, and I felt like it meant a lot.
As we were walking to the elevator, I just stopped him for a second and just basically said, look, man, I'm super proud of you. You were in incredible shape. There's no question about it. This sucks right now, but tomorrow is another day.
the morning, we had to travel back, and then when we got back, he called me to his office, and then we had to sit down, and he was like, now it's time just for you to recollect yourself. I know it's tough mentally, of course. It was tough, mentally to get back into the right training. He gave me some 2 days or 3 days of easy running just to be able to collect. And I think the following week, he called me again, and we sat down, and it was like, we saw a couple of races to be able to do, and I was like, my first thing was like, I hope you believe I can do it. He was like, yeah, I still believe in you. And in my mind I was like, I still have to show up and do whatever I promised myself at the beginning of the year, and I'm still chasing them. And I told him I need more exposure to race. That's why I'm going to race the Kenya Nationals. And he said, I'll support you on your whatever, at least the choices you're making.
What we need if we want to be good at the highest level is championship style race experience. And so the national meet will very much be like that. The gun will go off and you don't know what's going to happen. We'll stay open-minded about what he's capable of, and we'll have a plan certainly, but it'll be pretty open-minded, because he's going to have to make decisions on the fly. And you only get better at those decisions by experiencing those situations.
I think I still have a lot to do to be able to get up there, to show that I deserve a spot in the Kenyan team. And I think there's still time, and I think I'm capable of doing, and with the training that we're working on, I think when time comes, I'll be able to show off whatever I'm capable of doing.
This is a very serious job, but it's a fun job though, and you can be very serious about your craft and yet have fun. Those things don't have to be mutually exclusive, and I think Alex totally gets that.